Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the main news on Camnet TV with me, Sylvia Zulu. Here are the top stories making headlines. TIZ condemns the selective land allocation pushed by the lands minister. An energy expert predicts an increase in fuel prices. President HICHILEMA hails the European Union's support to Zambia. In international news, vote counting in the Democratic Republic of Congo underway. And in sports news, CHISI positive about ABSA qualification tomorrow. To join me with the details shortly.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
And now the news in detail. Opposition Patriotic Front sympathizer Peter Kashala has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of unlawful possession of a pistol, going armed in public, and idle and disorderly persons. Appearing before Magistrate Constant Kansankala, the accused took a plea after the court dismissed an application by a defense lawyer to amend particulars of the charges on grounds that they were unclear. We have the details in the following report.
Opposition Patriotic Front supporter Peter Kashala, 36, has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of unlawful possession of a firearm, idle and disorderly conduct. The PF supporter and businessman is alleged of on November 21st, 2023 in Lusaka, without lawful occasion, went armed in public in such a manner as to cause error to any person. In count 2, it is alleged that on the same date, Kashala conducted himself in a manner likely to breach peace. Allegations in count 3 are that the accused on the same date had possession of a firearm, namely a Grison pistol, 9mm, and ammunition without a license. When the matter came up for plea before Magistrate Constance Kasankala on Thursday, the charges were read out to Kashala and pleaded not guilty to the 3 counts after the court dismissed an application by the defense lawyers claiming that the accused could not take plea because the particulars of the offense were unclear in line with Section 134 of the Criminal Procedure Code. According to a police statement, Kashala was found in possession of a pistol, Grison Compact MC, with 15 rounds of ammunition upon acting on intelligence information it had received. Magistrate Kasankala has since adjourned the matter to February 19th and 20th, 2024 for commencement of trial. While the court session was over, the accused concluded the legal day with some words.
Never lose hope. We'll still fight for democracy.
Thank you. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The owner of the seized jet in the Camnet International Airport, Godsaga Ibrahim Goma Salim Hassan, has told the Economic and Financial Crimes Court, High Court Division, that he cannot be blamed for the alleged crimes committed by those who rented the jet. Mr. Hassan contests the decision by the Director of Public Prosecution to file a petition to order for the forfeiture of the jet, money, firearm, and minerals that it contends to the Zambian government on grounds of the jet being tainted for having been used to commit a crime is irregular.
Court proceedings in the alleged gold scam case has continued before the Lusaka High Court. On Monday, 18th December 2023, an Egyptian company, Ibis Air Property Limited Director Ba Faiz Mohamed Adamsi, told the Economic and Financial Crimes Court, High Court Division, that the jet, which was involved in the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport gold scam, cannot be forfeited to the Zambian government because it is not liable for forfeiture on grounds that it is not a product of alleged crimes. In the latest happening, owner of the jet involved in the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, Ibrahim Goma Salim Hassan, has asked the Economic and Financial Crimes Court to shift the blame on the persons who rented the jet and exclude the jet and management company from alleged crimes which were committed. In an affidavit in opposition in support of the notice of motion for forfeiture, Mr. Hassan contends that the jet is not a tainted property. Neither he nor the management company used it to commit a serious crime, nor are they connected to the Egyptians who were on board of the jet. This follows the Director of Public Prosecution's application in October 2023 to the Economic and Financial Crimes Court to have properties seized in the Goldgate scam forfeited to the state on account of them being tainted properties. The properties in question include the Global Express T7 WSS jet, $5.69 million, 602 pieces of brass pellets, 5 pistols with 126 rounds of ammunition, 11 pistol magazines, a drilling machine, and a central processing unit. But the owner argues that there is no requirement, either by law or industrial practice, in the aviation industry for him to contact or be aware of the clients and particulars of the people who rent the jet from the management company. Mr. Hassan concludes that the seizure of the jet is not executed correctly in line with the provisions of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act, and has since asked the court to deny the forfeiture order. The jet. In October this year, Director of Public Prosecution Gilbert Piri filed a petition to order for the forfeiture of the Global Express T7 WSS jet, $5.69 million, 602 pieces of brass pellets, 5 pistols with 126 rounds of ammunition, 11 pistol magazines, a drilling machine, and a central processing unit to be seized to the Zambian government. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
A 50-year-old man from Lusaka's Mtendere East and Munali constituency is appealing to relevant authorities to help him get his money from Valley View Market leadership, which is hesitating to pay him after constructing a toilet at the market. Luka Mumba says he used his own 64,000 kwacha to buy materials and pay people for labor, and that the current management at the market has refused to pay him, labeling him as a PF cadre. Mr. Mumba says he has engaged the area member of parliament, Mike Mposha, but no help has come forth. Vincent Piri filed in this report.
This is Luka Mumba, a 50-year-old resident of Lusaka's Mtendere East, whose generosity has costed him 64,000 kwacha. After seeing the dilapidated state of the toilets that were being used at Valley View Market in Mtendere East, Mr. Mumba entered an agreement in 2021 with the market leadership to put up a new structure for restrooms using his own money, which was to be paid back with a 50% interest by the market. Mr. Mumba told this reporter that after change of government in 2021, the management at the market also changed and the new one has refused paying him, and that he is being labeled as PF cadre whenever I asked for his money.
Then tinamvera nakuti I toilet bazani pasa in 3 years. So in 3 years bazafunga kunikira for 50% interest because na since ndrama zanga. I spend in drama 64,000 kwacha cash. Material na vale babonso kwa pasa, which I provided the receipts in our pasa. and we agree kuti ndrama bazani pass. After my election 2021, market you not taking over. Kunankala ma confusion kuti wanipase ndrama zana. Since June this year up to today, nikalipotenga polo 50 ngwe. Nikafunza ya tizakupasa. Iwo ndiwe kada yo. Tizakupasa ndiwe kada. So chapo. Manje kada ndine kada munjira kwani because I use my money vana vanga kuti wakazidia na sensa community kuti ipromoke. Then pass nankala kada. So the president Tanzania. Mr. Muma further says several engagements with authorities, including area member of parliament Mike Mposha, have not resulted to anything. I reported to the councillor. I found Mr. Mposha, the MP. I was injured. I called Mr. Mposha. Nothing. Almost 3 times I called Mr. Mposha. Mr. Mposha helped me in a problem. Help me nothing. I called the constituency chairman. After I see the vote, now these people market.
Meanwhile, a senior UPND official, Nchimunya Chisam, says cadarism is the main challenge at the market and has called on local government and rural development minister Garin Kombo to intervene.
First and foremost, I'm a senior UPND official. That issue for me, I think the problem, the biggest elephant in the room is the constituency chairman because he's the one who is supporting impunity. And also my appeal, NS appeal to the hard-working Home Affairs, local government minister, is to make sure that once they make a pronouncement, they must see to it that pronouncement comes to fruition. They are still collecting the money. Go and interact with those people. There is even a kind of you, Mr. Chris, who has even threatened to shoot some people with a pistol. So for me, it is lawlessness. It is because the cadres of UPND are being treated by brave groups within ourselves, the leaders of UPND, thereby disregarding the directive of the president of no cadarism, no fighting, those people who are perceived to be members of other political parties, unlike the way things used to be done abominably in the previous regime, particularly the PF.
For now, Mr. Muma remains optimistic that his plea will fall on a listening ear and help will come his way soon. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Members of the public have expressed divergent views on the government's move to reintroduce security checkpoints on roads. One of the residents spoken to, Julian Mwanza, says the reintroduction of checkpoints will help intensify security and at the same time reintroduce corruption on the roads.
Since the removal of security checkpoints in 2021, Zambian roads have been operating freely with a lot of alleged criminal activities. On 19th September 2021, Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Jack Mwimbu, ordered for the removal of roadblocks that were for the sole purpose of siphoning money because it was observed that most roadblocks were perpetual hotspots for corruption. But in response to the escalating criminal activities, the Zambian police have announced the introduction of security checkpoints at strategic points in the country. And some residents talked to by this journalist expressed mixed feelings about the reintroduction of security checkpoints, with others alleging that while it may be good, the previous alleged corruption may resurface.
Blocks being put again on roads. Well, it's a two-way thing. It's got its own negative and positive impact. When you look at it from a positive impact, yes, we need security around the country because we're having so many illegal deals, so many people coming with illegal substances from outside the country and within the country. And when we look at it from the other side, there'll be so much bribery going on. Reason being that some people will still want to pass with illegal items on the roads. They'll just seem to bribe the cops and say you can pass with the things. So it's a two-way thing anyways, but it's all good and bad at the same time. So let's see what...
Meanwhile, another citizen who spoke on conditions of anonymity says as long as the system in the Zambian police does not change, corruption will still reign in the reinstated checkpoints.
The problem with the checkpoints only is that when they were removing the checkpoints, they had the reason, and the reason obvious was they wanted to fight corruption. Now the question is that now that they want to bring them back, did they work on that corruption thing? I mean, if they bring the checkpoint back, what's the guarantee that we have that there won't be corruption this time around? So as long as there's no guarantee that there won't be corruption this time around, then they must not as well bring the checkpoints back, because the corruption will still continue.
Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The National Child Rights Forum has called for the urgent action to address the persistent high number of defilement cases in the country. Troika chairperson for National Child Rights Fund, Vusumuizi Sefile, says services such as Child Protection Unit and Victim Support Unit must be decentralized. Zambia has recorded 735 child defilement cases in the third quarter of 2023. 99 of the victims are girls.
Defilement is highly prevalent in Zambia, as evidenced by widespread reports on the vice in recent years. In the third quarter of 2023, for example, the country has recorded 735 child defilement cases, of which 99% victims are girls. This has concerned the National Child Rights Forum and has called for urgent action to address the persistent high numbers of the vice in the country. Troika chairperson for National Child Rights Forum, Vusumuizi Sefile, says the services such as Child Protection Unit and the Victim Support Unit must be decentralized to aid the recovery and empowerment of the victims to speak out against the abusers.
Unfortunately, Zambia continues to witness alarming numbers of defilement cases. In the third quarter of this year, 2023, a total number of 735 child defilement cases were recorded, with 99% of those involving girls. This deeply troubling trend demands immediate and concerted efforts. Urgent action is needed to address this pervasive issue and ensure that wrongs are not only acknowledged but swiftly rectified. Perpetrators must be held accountable and brought to justice to safeguard the well-being of our children. In light of these distressing statistics, as the NCRIF, we call upon the government, law enforcement agencies, and the community at large to collaborate on strengthening efforts to apprehend and prosecute individuals involved in child development cases and ensuring that justice is served promptly.
Meanwhile, Media Network on Child Rights and Development Executive Director Henry Kawe has called on the Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority, ZICTA, to put more efforts in regulating the cyberspace for the safety of children.
We have noticed that there is need for ZICTA to implement their policy on child protection. There is a policy that is specifically on child protection. So the need for us to sensitize children not to have access to such sites. I think you remember in Lusaka there was a party for over 100 children, a sex party. And in Livingstone there was one for over 50 children. So those things cannot be organized if children are not exposed to such things. So sometimes what children watch will influence their behavior. So I think there's need for us to sensitize the people, so that those issues are.
Many other numbers that are kept silent and in the households. So these are the ones that came out. There could be more, because in our society we tend to say don't report because your uncle will be taken to prison or your father will be to come this way and that way. So that's just a number that was brought to our attention. We know of that number. The other numbers, we cannot bring them out because the person refused to have it documented.
In recent years, Zambia has been recording high numbers of defilement cases, most of which are not even recorded, as families do not report such cases for various reasons, among them cultural beliefs. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Transparency International Zambia has condemned sentiments attributed to Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Elijah Muchima, where he was quoted pledging preferential treatment to UPND and the poor in the land allocation. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe says the United Party for National Development should resist the normalization of divisive practices and uphold the principles of impartiality and equal opportunity in the allocation of land. Mr. Nyambe has urged the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to strictly adhere to established procedures for land allocation that ensure equitable access to all citizens. He adds that the government should direct its commitment towards facilitating land acquisition without discrimination. Camnet News on December 17, 2023 aired a story where Dr. Muchima, whilst addressing residents in Chongwe, made the said statements.
If there will be any plots in any council, I will favor first UPND people and the poor person. That I'm going to do it. For 10 years, you must also have a share.
We are very concerned by the statement that has been attributed to the minister concerning land allocation. Whilst it may be true that the previous regime perpetrated a system of land allocation that disadvantaged certain people that had particular political affiliations, you cannot use that as a justification for continuing that wrong. Because as we all know, two wrongs do not make a right. And so if you look at even the 2021 land policy, it is very clear concerning some of the key attributes that need to be put in place when it comes to citizens or people accessing land. And one of the key things that has to be looked at is the issue of equity. We strongly condemn the remarks that have been attributed to the minister, and would like to remind him that whatever was wrong under the PF administration will still be wrong under the current regime. As a matter of fact, the UPND was elected on a promise of doing things differently from what was obtaining, and so it is disappointing to see a high-ranking government official perpetrating and promoting a system of land administration that will be biased along partisan lines. So we would like to urge Honorable Muchima to retract that statement.
An energy expert has predicted increased fuel prices in the coming months following the halting of all shipments of oil and gas by global oil giant British Petroleum. The oil company has halted all shipments of oil and gas through the Red Sea after an increase in the attacks on cargo ships by Houthi militants in Yemen, including 2 further strikes on 18th December. Boniface Zulu notes that every disruption in the supply of the commodity adversely affects countries that are dependent on importing the commodity.
Of course, any slight disruption within the supply chain is going to affect the pump prices of fuel here in Zambia, because we do not produce the commodity itself and we import. And anything that affects the supply of the commodity, be it political disturbance or just the fluctuation of international oil prices, demand and supply, as well as the kwacha to dollar exchange rate. Also, it's going to affect the pump prices here in Zambia. And for that fact, we are also looking at the fact that now, since the ship has been stolen, meaning that demand has increased for the commodity itself, and which is going to affect Zambia in the long run slightly, or even affect the entire globe, not just Zambia. But any slight changes within the supply chain affect the pump prices everywhere else, considering the fact that most countries do not produce oil, they import oil, so which means that any disruption will affect the pump.
Lusaka-based economist Muya Ikabongo says the impact of the last 2 International Monetary Fund (IMF) disbursements and the extended credit facility will not be felt on the economy immediately. Mr. Ikabongo, however, suggests that the $188 million IMF second disbursement should be used to achieve macroeconomic stability, as the Zambian economy has been grappling with a lot of challenges. Meanwhile, another economist, Kelvin Chisanga, has attributed the second approval of the review under ECF program by the IMF to sound local economic strides, such as fiscal discipline, which the government has been pursuing. Mr. Chisanga also notes that the disbursement of funds under the program will cushion the economic stress amidst uncertainties in debt restructuring with board holders and positively impacts the 2025 budgeting process. The IMF Wednesday approved the disbursement of $188 million from the IMF Extended Credit Facility EFC program.
Zambia's economy has currently been hit with various challenges, such as the depreciation of the kwacha to the dollar. One is left to wonder if the IMF disbursement funds are helping the country or moving things from bad to worse. Recently, the International Monetary Fund IMF has approved a third disbursement of funds amounting to $187 million. This follows the completed review of the Extended Credit Facility for Zambia. In a statement, Finance and National Planning Minister Dr. Msokotwane states that the total disbursement now stands at $561 million out of the sum of $1.3 billion. But reacting to this development, an economist, Muya Ikabongo, predicts that Zambians will not see the immediate outcomes of the 3 IMF funds that have been dispersed.
The disbursement of these funds is actually one of the key things that we want to see for this economy. We have been grappling with a number of challenges, balance of payments, the exchange rate, inflation, the cost of living, and so on. All these different things that we're experiencing as a country, we need some assistance in a way to be able to try and achieve some macroeconomic stability. So the previous disbursements, of course, we may not have seen the immediate outcome. We may not have seen the immediate changes that we anticipated, but obviously in the background, over time, we'll actually be able to see some of these changes. As I want to mention, you will see that most of the times we have things that can actually show bear fruits right there and then we also have medium-term, long-term changes that may occur.
Meanwhile, social economist Kelvin Chisanga shares similar thoughts, explaining that the IMF disbursement funds have long-term benefits which will be seen over time. Mr. Chisanga, however, says the IMF funds have helped Zambia attain fiscal discipline and the implementation of a debt plan that will help the country clear its debt.
Fundamental factors. One, we have seen the continued effort on fiscal discipline. The two, we have seen also the implementation of the debt treatment plan, which has actually been upbeat as well, strongly in the hands of CARE, where the central government has been able to drive information around what has been happening in terms of this, and much more, even now to go a step further, formulating the policies that should be able to govern the future contraction of loans. That also is another element that is of a positive nature in this case. Then the other aspect, of course, we know that even if it might be unnecessary evil in the case of what the central bank is doing, they have been also tackling, efforts around stabilizing the economy, vis-a-vis looking at how best can we balance up the lot of economic factors within the economy, understanding that the economy has got a lot of moving components. And dealing with
Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV. We now take our first set of commercials. I will be back with more news. Stay with us.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll now continue with more news. President Hakainde Hichilema says the European Union, EU, has been a key partner to Zambia's development through the provision of financial and technical support. President Hichilema notes that the EU has supported Zambia in various areas including health, trade, environmental sustainability, education, and poverty reduction, among other key areas. The head of state adds that the EU has also been instrumental in Zambia's economic reconstruction agenda through support for the debt restructuring process under the G20 Officials Creditors Committee. President Hichilema said this at State House when the EU Parliament Committee on Foreign Affairs paid a courtesy call on him. President Hichilema reiterated that the EU's economic and technical support has had a positive impact on the lives of many Zambians, and President Hichilema called for more cooperation between Zambia and the EU in promoting global peace and sustainability. The head of state reaffirmed Zambia's commitment to the peaceful resolution of conflicts around the world through dialogue. We now move to Mongu, where residents call for justice to prevail in the case of Stumbeko, who was murdered while in Mongu police cells. Speaking on behalf of the family, Ruth Mutundwelo is calling on government to investigate the matter and bring the culprit to book.
Thousands of Mongu residents on Wednesday afternoon gathered to send off a 24-year-old man who died while in police cells. The man, identified as Stumbeko, died on Sunday in an unclear manner. Stumbeko, who was arrested after being picked from his home by a non-police officer, was found with some injuries on his forehead. Speaking to Camnet News after burial, Ruth Matundero, a relative to the deceased, is calling for justice in the case of her relative and wants the culprit to be brought to book.
We are very saddened about what happened to our son, brother, and trained physically. So we are surprised at why the police did not go to the house to actually inform the people to say this is what has happened. And despite taking, please go and check, the twin sister was now calling the friend to ask him to go and check on him in the cells. That's when we were told that he had died from severe beating. And all we are asking for is justice. Because every parent, every family would actually say what we are saying right now. We are just asking for justice. Yes, the other issue is the time he was taken to the hospital was around 03. But the BID report tells us that it was taken at 8:05. How come and what is going on? We need to know what is going on.
Some residents also expressed their concerns.
Lobata kuli muso uzwele pile kutalema tava ya buniti ka buniti kwanu kwa bulozi kwanu nweza demand kuli aiba kimapokola kapa kimali maindi baba kondele kubula amufu yale lokupa kuli muso ulufe report sinamolu
miape aluna kuitwele 4 lukazwela pili niona tava ya kulesa luka otokuli mapokola bana bayifa inquiries zileo batamilwe mane niye na mpokola zulu ya nayo uzwa mutu yale kuyo muzo kwa ndu yabona kumuyeseza hako yo mpoba ola lukatokwa kubona kuli mapokola bao batamilwe.
For us to observe peace, let the government come in and deal with the officers that have been found wanting.
Meanwhile, the twin sister to the deceased, Nakubiana Stumbeko, sent people to tears as she read a tribute for her twin brother.
As I stand here today, I promise to live a life that honors you and your memory, to be the source of your love, light, and joy. Your spirit will continue to live in my heart. You are my twin and my other half and my soulmate. As I say my goodbye today, I know that this is not the end. Today we are putting you to rest, my twin brother. You've left me broken, Stumbeko. Your death is hard to understand. My twin, I'll greatly miss you. I'm sad that I won't be able to hear your voice again. I won't be able to hear you singing for me. You always reminded me that we came on earth together.
The honors is now in the hands of the law enforcers to let justice prevail without favor. For Camnet News, Musiabo Kabila, Mungu District, Western Province.
The movement for the restoration of education and teachers' affairs in Zambia has charged that it is too early to completely measure government's efforts on strides made towards the education sector this far because it is still a working government. Speaking at a press briefing Thursday, Moreta Executive Director Samuel Mbumba commends the government's 2-year efforts to ensure quality education is attained for all learners. Dr. Bumba cited teacher recruitments, free education and construction of school structures.
Of whether they have achieved, government has achieved or has not achieved. But I think this is just 2 years in office. And as Moreta Zambia wouldn't want to actually hold the government to account because they are still a working government. And it will be very important for us as Moreta to rate government after the end of 5 years. In complementing government's effort in the year 2023, remember the New Dawn government has been in office for 2 years, which is a coincidence with the Moreta Zambia. We've also been in the office for 2 years from the time we were duly registered. So we would like to acknowledge the positives, the developmental agenda, and the love of embracing the Minister of Education by government, by His Honor, the Excellence, the Republican President, who has actually given us a lot of attention as Minister of Education. As Minister of Education, as civil society that exists in the Minister of Education, we have witnessed vast developmental agenda, which is actually being seen by every citizen. And we thought it should be very wise and prudent for us as civil society organizations to appreciate government, not only to criticize, not only to complain, but I think it is very important that we highlight these developments to the people of this nation and the teachers at large so that they know that the desks in schools are being supplied.
The Cleaning Association of Zambia President Lawrence Makumbi has expressed disappointment that the National Pensions Authority NABSA has awarded a cleaning contract worth 4 million kwacha to a foreign firm. Mr. Makumbi says Zambians are capable of running the cleaning sector, but wonders why NABSA deems it fit to give a foreign firm a contract. He says NABSA is a public institution that must support businesses spearheaded by Zambians. He has charged that NABSA management is working against President HICHILEMA's aspiration to empower citizens.
The Cleaning Association of Zambia is disappointed with the offer by NABSA to a foreign cleaning company offering a cleaning contract for over 4 million kwacha. We are disappointed because President HICHILEMA has put it very straight and categorical that Zambians must benefit from these government institutions. Why are the people at NABSA, the managing director and his procurement team, why have they decided to give this foreigner 70% of the cleaning contracts in Zambia at more than 4 million kwacha being given to a foreigner in this time and age? 59 years after independence, we are still giving Society Business Park. We are giving Levy Junction to a foreign cleaning company. And again, it's a foreign cleaning company that is being investigated by the Anti-Corruption Commission for forming a union, a bogus union, which has been getting money from poor cleaners. They've siphoned over 15 million kwacha from poor cleaners' salaries. These are the same people that are being investigated by the Zambia Revenue Authority for non-compliance by not paying taxes. And there comes NABSA. President HICHILEMA, we are calling upon you. These people at NABSA are hell-bent to destroy your name. They want to give foreigners, please come to our aid in the cleaning sector, because 4 million kwacha of Zambian money is going to be externalized out of this country by some very few greedy individuals, corrupt individuals that have been corrupted by this foreigner who is even being investigated for corruption and fraud and money laundering and tax evasion. And there goes NABSA to give them a 4 million kwacha project. When Zambians are able to do this business, Zambians are able to clean. What is so special about Mpika and the Chipata offices and the Levy Junction? What is so special that Zambians cannot do? What is so special? It is because these foreigners are able to pay premium corruption rates. That is why they have been given. We are not going to allow it. NABSA is our institution, and this is a public institution which must give business to Zambians. We are not going to allow what NABSA has currently done.
We now go on our last break. I will be back with some sports as well as international stories. Stay tuned.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
And now for the rest of the news. In international news, the polling stations have closed in the DRC and the process of counting votes has begun in Lubumbashi, a town in the southern region of this vast Central African nation. The election, which unfolded against a backdrop of economic challenges and accusations of irregularities, feature incumbent President Felix Tshisekedi facing a fragmented opposition. The opposition leaders have raised concerns about chaos and electoral irregularities, further adding complexity to an already high-stakes political landscape. Tshisekedi, who has overseen years of economic growth, now grapples with criticisms of minimal job creation and escalating inflation. The voting process has been marred by administrative chaos and delays, amplifying fears that the Electoral Commission was ill-prepared for a ballot in a country comparable in size to a continental Western Europe. Here's a roundup of international news.
The polling stations in the Democratic Republic of Congo have closed, and the process of counting votes has begun in Lubumbashi, a town in the southern region of the vast Central African nation. The election, which unfolded against a backdrop of economic challenges and accusation of irregularities, features incumbent President Felix Tshisekedi facing a fragmented opposition. The opposition leaders have raised concerns about the chaos of electoral irregularities. The voting process has been marred by administrative chaos and delays, amplifying fears that the Electoral Commission was ill-prepared for a ballot in the country. Reports of voters discovering their names missing from the electoral roll have surfaced, adding a layer of complexity to an already tumultuous election. The Democratic Republic of Congo, renowned as Africa's top copper producer and the world's leading producer of cobalt, plays a crucial role in the global economy.
The African Development Bank announced Wednesday the immediate withdrawal of all its international staff from Ethiopia. The group said in a statement that the decision followed the breach of diplomatic protocol and assault by Ethiopian security forces on two of the African Development Bank's international members of staff. The AFDB says they were unlawfully arrested, physically assaulted and detained for hours without charge or any official explanation on October 31st. On learning of the incident, the group's president, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, contacted the highest levels of authority in the Ethiopian government, following which the bank's two staff members were released. At the time of the formal complaint last month, the AFDB said the Ethiopian authorities promised to investigate, and Ethiopian State Finance Minister Eyab Dekalin said his government regretted the incident, Reuters reported. On Wednesday, the AFDB said the situation was still not yet resolved in a satisfactory manner. Locally recruited employees will remain in Addis Ababa. As of September 30, the AFDB's ongoing portfolio in Ethiopia comprised projects worth about $1 billion.
Roaring walls of water, leaving a trail of destruction across parts of South India. The state government here blamed the chaos on what it called record rain, heavier than forecast showers and warnings which came a bit late.
All our gas cylinders and kitchen items were swept away in the floods. There is nothing to eat. Our situation is very bad.
Local administrators say Tirunelveli and Tuticorin were the worst affected. Hundreds were stranded by rising floodwaters. Rescue teams worked hard to reach vulnerable victims like this pregnant woman and this young baby trapped by the floods.
INS Parandu has a helicopter squadron there. They were immediately taking their helicopter, and based on the information that was coming to us with regard to rescuing people who were stranded on treetops or on roof, they were immediately taken in. And INS Parandu, through the helicopter, 4 sorties of the helicopter, we could rescue about 17 people, including 3 pregnant ladies.
Cooked food and ration packs were being distributed to those trapped by the floods. The deluge occurred while the state was still recovering from the damage caused by Cyclone Michong, which lashed the coast earlier this month, killing at least 13 people. The floods are beginning to recede, and residents are desperately hoping for a respite from more rain. Minna Fernandez, Al Jazeera.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
In sports news, Red Arrows Football Club is aiming to finish the first round of the 2023-2024 season on a positive note as they face off against the newly promoted Mutondo Stars in a Week 17 match at Nkoloma Stadium tomorrow, Friday. The visitors enter this match with a confident stride, having secured a 1-0 victory against Sanako Football Club in Ndola. On the flip side, the hosts suffered a defeat against the Green Eagles and were unable to secure their spot in ABSA for 2024. CHISI was speaking to the media during an online Zoom pre-match conference ahead of the encounter tomorrow, Friday, in Lusaka. He emphasized the importance of finishing the first round on a positive note as it will boost his team's morale for the second half of the season. He said Red Arrows will unfortunately be missing their captain, Benedict Chipeshi, due to illness. However, they will be without their captain, who is currently suffering from a fever, as well as George Mandu, who is sidelined with a knee injury. The Airmen are heading into Week 17 with a crucial match against Mutondo Stars. A draw in this game will secure their spot in the ABSA Cup for 2024. That's it for our news tonight. Here's a recap of the stories making headlines. TIZ condemns the selective land allocation push by the Minister of Lands. An energy expert predicts an increase in the fuel prices. President HICHILEMA hails the European Union's support to Zambia. In international news, vote counting in the Democratic Republic of Congo underway. And in sports news, CHISI positive about ABSA qualification tomorrow. Our verse of the day is coming from the book of Leviticus 19, verse 11. Do not steal, do not lie, do not deceive one another. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Pleasant night and God bless you.